Here's a health to jolly Bacchus, here's a health to jolly Bacchus, here's a health to jolly Bacchus, I-oh, 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 for he doth merry make us, for he doth merry make us, for he doth merry make us, I-oh, I-oh, I-oh. Here's a health to jolly Bacchus, here's a health to jolly Bacchus, here's a health to jolly Bacchus, I-oh, 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 for he doth merry make us, for he doth merry make us, for he doth merry make us, I-oh, I-oh, I-oh. Come sit ye down together, come sit ye down together, come sit ye down together, I-oh, 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 and bring more liquor hither, and bring more liquor hither, and bring more liquor hither, I-oh, I-oh, I-oh. It goes into the cranium, it goes into the cranium, it goes into the cranium, I-oh, I-oh, I-oh. And thou'rt a boon companion, and thou'rt a boon companion, and thou'rt a boon companion, I-oh, I-oh, I-oh. Here's a health to jolly Bacchus, I-oh, 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 and he doth merry make us, for he doth merry make us, for he doth merry make us, I-oh, I-oh, I-oh. Come sit ye down together, come sit ye down together, come sit ye down together, I-oh, 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 and bring more liquor hither, and bring more liquor hither, and bring more liquor hither, I-oh, I-oh, I-oh. It goes into the cranium, I-oh, 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 and thou'rt a boon companion, and thou'rt a boon companion, and I-oh, I-oh, I-oh.
Hello and welcome to Purcell and a Pint. We'll be transporting you back to the taverns and alehouses of the 17th century with folk music, drinking songs and bawdy ballads, and hopefully recreating a little of the raucous atmosphere of singing, dancing, laughing and more in the comfort of your own home. There's plenty of opportunity throughout this performance to sing and dance along, and you'll find the words for these pieces in the downloadable programme and on the screen too. We kicked off with a health to Jolly Bacchus, sung to the tune of Paul's Steeple, taken from the songbooks of the time, printed by John Playford and John Walsh, and we'll have a little bit more about them later on. We're delighted to be collaborating with Calverley's Brewery in Cambridge, and we can't wait to go there in person in the summer and have a beer when it's possible, and we'll hope you enjoy the virtual beer tasting for the time being in the interval too. Our dress code for this evening is as inspired as if we were at the pub having a drink. Hopefully we can all do that very soon. And for some of us, our love of football comes into play in the final piece this evening as well. In these challenging times, we are extremely grateful for your ongoing support. Please do consider making a small donation at the end of this concert, around £10 to £15, something you would usually pay to watch a concert in person. This money goes directly to supporting the young freelance musicians you will hear today, as well as helping to secure the future of Eboracum Baroque. In order to continue striving to further develop our work, we require your support to make this happen. Thank you. The next piece goes by the title Oil of Barley, and also known as A Cup of Old Stingo. It was a drinking song, but also a tune used for dancing, and featured in the English Dancing Master, a collection of dances compiled by John Playford in 1651. Purcell was notorious for liking a trip to the pub. One story about Purcell's death goes that he was late home from a rather heavy night and his wife locked him out and he succumbed to the cold. You can imagine catches being sung around the table of alehouses, and they are often rather rude in the subjects that they featured. Here's Purcell's I Gave Her Cakes and Gave Her Ale.
I gave her cakes, and I gave her ale, and I gave her sack and sherry. I kissed her once, and I kissed her twice, and we were wondrous merry. I gave her beads and bracelets fine, and I gave her gold down derry. I thought she was afeard till she stroked my beard, and we were wondrous merry. I gave my hearts merry, my tongues merry, my sprites very merry, 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 my hay down cherry. I kissed her once, and I kissed her twice, and we were wondrous merry. I gave her merry, and I praised her merry, 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 my hay down cherry. I kissed her once, and I kissed my twice, and we were wondrous merry.
Niccolo Matisse made his way from Naples to London by foot in the 1670s and brought with him a new Italian style of playing. He polished and refined English ears and made them fit and eager, and he seemed to be spirit-hearted and played such ravishing things on a ground as astonished us all. So here is an exuberant set of variations on a ground. This next catch by John Lenton is a rebus, a puzzle on a composer's name. Can you work out who it is?
The mate to a cock, and corn tall as wheat, is his Christian name, who in music's complete. His surname begins with the grace of a cat, and concludes with the house of a hermit. Note that his skill and performance each auditor wins, but the poet deserves a good kick on the shins. His surname begins with the grace of a cat, and concludes with the house of a hermit. Note that his skill and performance each auditor wins, but the poet deserves a good kick on the shins.
His surname begins with the grace of a cat, and concludes with the house of a hermit. Note that his skill and performance each auditor wins, but the poet deserves a good kick on the shins.
So, 3 short harpsichord pieces for you now, all by Henry Purcell. The first is a hornpipe, a frolicsome, rumbustious folk dance, traditionally associated with sailors and therefore possibly with drinking as well. Who knows? So if you've got a drink, make sure you drink alongside as I play this hornpipe. This particular example comes from Purcell's D minor suite, his solo harpsichord suite. Then the second and third pieces I'm going to play for you are original compositions by Purcell, but in different national styles. So the second is, rather the first of these 2 particular pieces is entitled A New Scotch Tune, and you can hear some sort of slightly traditional Scottish elements in the way that Purcell composes the piece. And the final of the 3 pieces I'm going to play is entitled A New Irish Tune, but its second title is perhaps the one by which we know it best, which is Lily Bolero.
Broadside ballads were the pop songs of their day. They were churned out in their thousands and whistled and sung in all walks of life, pasted on tavern walls, used as book liners, firelighters or toilet paper. It was a form of mass communication. Just like newspapers today, they were a rapid response to current events. Subjects included the Gunpowder Plot, the Great Fire of London, and the longing for the return of Charles II. Perhaps more suited, though, to our tavern setting were songs of lusty tales, jilted suitors, and drunken escapades. The jovial Broom Man centres around an old soldier who's returned from the wars, boasting extravagantly about his exploits, and he tries to scrounge free drinks and a bed for the night. The mention of Hollandersliga in this song was the name given to an infamous brothel in London's Southwark owned by Elizabeth Holland. So far from fighting valiantly for king and country, it seems our hero has simply been soundly ripped off.
That's come from seas, hey, jolly broom man, that gladly now would take his ease, and therefore make me room man, to France, the Netherlands, and Spain. Hey, jolly broom man, I cross the seas and back again, and therefore make me room man. Yet in these countries there lived I, hey, jolly broom man, and valiant soldiers I so die, and therefore make me room man. 100 gallants there I killed, hey, jolly broom man, and besides a world of blood I spilled, and therefore make me room man. In Germany I took a town, hey, jolly broom man, the walls they're upside down, and therefore make me room man. And when the people all were gone, hey, jolly broom man, I held the town myself alone, and therefore make me room man. When Taverley came the Turk, hey, jolly broom man, I blew up thousands in a work, and therefore make me room man. When Caesar's pomp I overthrew, hey, jolly broom man, then many a Roman lord I slew, and therefore make me room man. At Hollandersliga there I fought, hey, jolly broom man, but there the service proved too hot, and therefore make me room man. Then from the league returned I, hey, jolly broom man, naked, hungry, cold, and dry, and therefore make me room man. But here I've now compassed the globe, hey, jolly broom man, and I'm returned as poor as Job, and therefore make me room man. And now I'm safe returned here, hey, jolly broom man, is to you in a cup of English beer, and therefore make me room man.
Hi, welcome to Calverley's Brewery. I'm just finishing a canning run in our humble little brew house. And you can see it's bubbling away on the clean down. My brother's up there just checking on the vessels. And then should we go over and should we go and try some beers? See what our hard workers brewed today. And you're going to go over here. So we're based in a little Victorian farmhouse. Where we've managed to squeeze in a whole load of vessels, a canning line, and the little brewery. Over the other side here, we've got what was originally a Victorian farm building that became a garage in the 1930s. And during the first lockdown, we thought it was a good idea to turn it into a bar. So we've got Matt in our shop window here. Hi, Matt. And we've got our little bar here. So it's all a little bit of in a state of flux because we are obviously everything. So we've just been using it to store cans and other bits of chaos. But bear with me whilst I get out my work clothes and crack open some beers. Hi. The first order of the day is the Kolsch. This is a lager-like ale. So it's our anglicised version of a beer from Cologne, and we spelt it phonetically. So what it is a very delicate, hops only used for bittering to balance the sweet malts from the barley and the wheat. And what you end up with is something very light and refreshing that's uncomplicated and easy to drink. Here you go, Matt.
Oh, thank you very much. Cheers.
Nice welcome, and then I'll pour mine a little bit. So what's your first impressions, Matt?
Very nice. Biscuity aroma.
Yes, biscuity.
Cheers.
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 So you get a very subtle fruitiness from the yeast, which is the yeast that originates from Germany, from Cologne. But beautifully, it's not cultivated there, it's cultivated in a different country, another European country. And this is the whole beautiful thing I like about beer is, even though there's very regional distinctions, it's very much a global culture with sharing of ideas that bounce around. So we have American brewers who are making these hoppy IPAs who were inspired by British brewers in the 80s who are making best bitters here. And then, you know, I'm like in love with the German heritage of brewing, and, you know, learning from what a Kiwi and New Zealand hop might bring to the game. Anyway, that's procrastination. Back to the beer. So the Kolsch was the first beer off our new canning line. All the artwork is designed by my wife, Anna Katrine, who does us these lovely artworks. I'm very proud of. So next on the menu is the Hazy Pale, which has got the soft summer haze of a beautiful evening going on. A little bit early for talking about summer, we haven't even got spring yet. But this has just come off the canning line today. So what we have is a foray into the New England pale ale style. So what this means is we have used more oats in this beer than my children eat in a year, and they eat a lot of porridge every day. And what that does is basically you're making almost like an oat milk. So it contributes to the protein in the beer. So not that long ago, if you had served a beer like this, a hazy beer, people would be like, send that back, where's my findings, clear that out.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
But what's happened here is it's literally opposite to the Kolsch. So the Kolsch is all about delicacy and lightness, whereas this, and using the hops for the bittering. So hops are used in the same way you might think about tea. Tea is the best way to explain this. So biotransformation is the key to this beer. So basically, Usually hops have been used historically to balance the sweetness. And what this is doing is the isomerization of the alpha acids, meaning that when you put them in the beer, you're getting the bitterness, which helps create the balance between the sweetness. But what we've been using here is using the hops post-boil and during active fermentation, which is to capture the delicate essential oil of the hop flower. And these cultivators have been breeding in these oils that taste and smell like a whole array of fruits. And because what it is the same chemical compounds that are contained within those fruits are contained within the hop, and they bred them for that. But when you're using it in a boil, it boils off because over 30 degrees and oxygen contributes to its decay. So we add it at the end of the boil, kilos and kilos in the kettle, and then when it's fermenting, we're adding pellets consecutively over 3 days. And what this does is the biotransformation, which hence result is a permanent haze in your beer, and also capturing and having a different form of isomerization. So it's transforming them rather than the beta, rather than the alpha acids. It's capturing the myrcene, which is the delicate oil. Basically, a fruity little number.
Very fruity.
With citrusy notes, with almost peppery edge from the mosaic hop. Cheers. Last but not least is the New England IPA. So this is the big brother version of the hazy. So it's following the same concept, using the hops only after what I call lights out, which is when you turn the elements off, and during active fermentation. But this one is a more full-bodied beer with a far sweeter end note. So to me it tastes like bruised pineapples and sweet grapefruit. So each sip, you can get a myriad of different flavours, and it changes as it goes over the tongue. And so when I'm drinking this beer, say that tropical punch, because that's I'm getting these different fruit notes, and because I've used 3 different hops, the Simcoe, the Mosaic, and the Citra, they all contribute to creating this myriad of flavour, which all comes together in a thick body. And light, but also full fruit. There concludes our brief foray into beer tasting. The most important thing about beer is other people. And at the moment, we can't wait to share our beer with you guys.
Absolutely.
But the most important would be to actually be in the same room. So until that time, take care, peace and love. And thank you very much from Calverley's Brewery.
Cheers.
We kicked off our second half with some more Playford dances. These books were published in over 18 editions alongside some extra material too, starting in 1651 up until 1728. It was an attempt to collect popular English country dances of the day into a book, complete with printed melodies and instructions for dancing each one. They would have been sold by John Playford at his shop in the Inner Temple near the church door in London. We return to Purcell again now, and do feel free to join in with this catch in a simple round. You'll see some of the words on the screen, and John will sing them first by himself, then join in the fun.
Of honest malt liquor let's English boys sing. A pox take French claret, we'll drink no such thing. But London brewed staples, stout English boys sing. They'll find us good matter, we'll drink no such thing. On
Of honest malt liquor let English boys sing. The fox takes good claret, we'll drink no such thing. But London brewed staples, stout Burton or Lincoln, they'll find us good matter to talk or to think of. To Queen, Lords and Commons, toast a health ere it rise. Though we lower our pockets, yet we raise our excise. "'Tis women makes us love, 'tis love that makes us sad, 'tis sadness makes us drink, and drinking makes us mad. 'Tis women makes us love, 'tis love that makes us sad, 'tis sadness makes us drink, and drinking makes us mad. 'Tis women makes us love, 'tis love that makes us sad, 'tis sadness makes us drink, and drinking makes us mad. 'Tis women makes us love, 'tis love that makes us sad, 'tis sadness makes us drink, and drinking makes us mad."
It is often said that life was so much better in the olden days, and this ballad shows that in earlier times people felt just the same way. From the changing of clothing, haircuts, through to new diseases and new houses, this song is a snapshot of changing times. I particularly like the word gewgaws in relation to the new fashion of wearing valueless trinkets and ornaments, and you'll recognise the tune for this, the famous Green Sleeves.
time, England, right? It's always been that. It's always the same. It's a beautiful country full of beautiful people, with beautiful human beings. We welcome in anyone, alright? Yeah, I don't want to hear this. Right? Anyone here gonna stand up? Anyone here's gonna stand up against me, are they? Go on then. Who's gonna stand up against you? You talk of old England, I truly believe. Old England is grown new and doth deceive. I'll ask you a question or two by your leave. And is not old England grown new? Where are your soldiers with slashes and scars? They never used drinking in no time of wars, nor shedding of blood in mad drunken jars. And is not old England grown new? New captains are made that never did fight, but with pots in the day and punts in the night, and all their chief care is to keep their swords bright. And is not old England grown new? Where are your old swords, your bills and your bows, your bucklers and targets that never fit blows? They are turned to stilettos with other fair shows. And is not old England grown new? Where are your old courtiers that used to ride with 40 blue coats and footmen beside? They are turned to 6 horses, a coach with a guide. And is not old England grown new? And what is become of your old English clothes, your long-sleeved doublet and your trunk hose? They are turned to French fashions and other gewgaws. And is not old England grown new? We have new-fashioned beards and new-fashioned locks, and new-fashioned hats for your new painted blocks, and more new diseases besides the French pox. And is not old England grown new? New houses are built and the old ones pulled down, until the new houses fell all the old ground, and the houses stand like a horse in the pound. And is not old England grown new? New fashions in houses, new fashions at table, the old servants discharged and the new not so able, and all good custom is now but a fable. And is not old England grown new? New trickings, new goings, new measures, new paces, new heads for your men, for your women, new faces, and 20 new tricks to mend their bad cases. And is not old England grown new? New tricks in the law, new tricks in the rolls, new bodies they have, they look for new souls when the money is paid for building old St. Paul's. And is not old England grown new? Then talk no more of New England. New England is where old England did stand, new fashioned, new furnished, new woman, new man. And is not old England grown new?
The next piece is a set of divisions on the Old Bavarian drinking song Wat zal men op den avond doen by Jacob van Eyck. These divisions are like a 17th century theme and variation in that at first you'll hear the quite simple melody of the drinking song, and as the piece progresses the beats divide, so the notes get smaller and smaller, and it becomes a variation on the same tune as it goes through. One of the reasons I think this one's really great is I think it also sounds a bit more drunk as it goes through. This is written by composer Jacob van Eyck, who to recorder players is an extremely famous composer and to everyone else pretty much unheard of. He was an amazing character who worked looking after the bells at Utrecht Cathedral, and whilst he was there they discovered he's actually a phenomenal recorder virtuoso as well, and so he picked up a side job wandering the gardens of the cathedral, improvising these divisions on popular melodies. And this particular drinking song would have been very well known, so it was a good one for him to have chosen. Van Eyck was actually blind, so in the end the music became so popular with the locals that they charged a scribe boy to sort of follow him round and desperately notate these improvisations as he was playing them. And this now forms the largest collection of works for a single instrument, which I think is amazing, even though it's pretty much unheard of. So this is Wat zal men op den avond doen, or What Shall We Do This Evening?
We conclude with Purcell and an absolute classic from his semi-opera King Arthur. This hit song from 1691 soon appeared in ballad sheets and in various versions, including titles such as We've Cheated the Parson and Boys and Girls Come Out to Play. Just like songs from the musicals on the West End are published today, it would have been a popular tune to sing. We felt that this was a perfect way to conclude our Purcell and a Pint concert, so top up your drinks and join us in your Hey It Is mode. Thanks for watching and cheers!
Your hay it is mowed and your corn is reaped, your barns will be full and your hovels heaped. Come boys come boys come, and merrily roar out our harvest home, and merrily roar out our harvest home. Harvest home, and merrily roar out our harvest home, and merrily roar out our harvest home.
We've cheated the parson, we'll cheat him again, for why should a blockhead have 1 in 10? 1 in 10, 1 in 10, for why should a blockhead have 1 in 10? For why should a blockhead have 1 in 10? 1 in 10, 1 in 10, for why should a blockhead have 1 in 10? For why should a blockhead have 1 in 10?
For parties along like a woodlands hot, till pudding and dumpling are burned to pot, burned to pot, burned to pot, till pudding and dumpling are burned to pot, till pudding and dumpling are burned to pot, burned to pot, burned to pot, till pudding and dumpling are burned to pot, till pudding and dumpling are burned to pot.
We'll toss off our hill till we cannot stand, and hey for the honour of Old England, Old England, Old England, and hey for the honour of Old England, and hey for the honour of Old England, Old England, Old England, and hey for the honour of Old England, and hey for the honour of Old England.
One more time, lads and lasses.
Old England,